I think it's very interesting, especially for a role as big as like a main support. I think it's very, very weird to change like in the middle of the season. Obviously with Kellex retiring.
Welcome back everybody to the Overwatch League. It is time for our final match of the day, and it's going to be a good one. It's the Toronto Defiant versus the Los Angeles Gladiators.
I played Plexopon on Montreal, so it was very nervous and scared. I don't have time that time. I only played 5 days and played the match, so I tried my best.
Shield's going to be splitting down the middle here. Toronto Defiant want to be using it to pressure them forwards. They've already found a pick onto Birdring. That's going to remove a lot of the damage. And when you lay down the Earth Shatters like that, Beast is having an absolute field day with it. 2 kills for him. Nice, lovely little retake there from Toronto Defiant. This fight is a scrappy one at that. Roki committing his soundbire, but it's already faded, and now the Superchargers, they really try and string this fight around. What an ice wall! I don't believe what I've just witnessed there. Agilities with a great play, pushing Los Angeles Gladiators into the line of sight of the self-destruct. That was absolutely filthy. Only a couple remain as Big Goose tries to peel them away, but it will not be enough. OG comes in the final moments, but no Earth Shatter to use, nothing to really utilize, and that is going to be map number 1 going into Toronto Defiant. The Gladiators going to be happy with this, and this is, I think, the kind of tempo the Gladiators want to be playing at. You play at this high tempo, you force out mistakes from the opposition. They are formidable indeed. The Los Angeles Gladiators going to be stopping them in their tracks, and they are going to be taking the series 3-1.
Some recent changes with the departure, Matt, of Kellex.
Yes, Kellex retires, Cruz gets traded from the Paris Eternal over to the Toronto Defiant. You already see he's in the starting lineup.
A lot of teams when we first joined it feels like everything's not as connected. Like it's hard to understand people, or like there's a lot of disconnection. But I felt like everyone was able to like listen to each other well, like really quick. It feels like, I don't know, how to adapt fast to playing with a new player, I feel like.
I think Cruz was actually like a really good fit for us because I think in general our team was lacking some form of like, not necessarily leadership as much, but sort of like a global idea of like pushing us forward. And I think Cruz really brings that together. The game started off with a pretty big lowlight this week. We were doing our warm-up, and you know, obviously after our warm-up we have IT set up, and then Blizzard informs us that we were supposed to play with Surfer and me. Now the practice for this week was to actually play with me and Brady throughout all the maps. Surfer wasn't even in TeamSpeak, he wasn't even warming up. You know, he was kind of just chilling, hanging out. So obviously I had to go to his room and be like, hey Lane, don't know how to tell you this, but you're playing the first map.
We put him in the worst situation ever, where he had no practice, and then all of a sudden he's playing because of a mishap with the starter sheet. So he's playing the first map, and then he played the best man that I've seen him play.
The round's over.
Yeah.
The round's over from that point. Okay, short ball isn't hit by the Blizzard. He goes through it,
But it's probably too late, though.
Well, maybe not. They can bring it back
Yeah.
here. Look at this. The shock had to commit so deeply because they're diving. There's no other choice. You either commit fully or you lose. So many of them are caught in that Blizzard. Can the shock respond to this? They do have a Lucio. He's not spotted though. Short he gets exactly what he wanted here, and yep, the double freeze is going to make Architect hard. Well, hard for him to get out. Nice immortality field deployment, but it's way too late to really save him. Yeah, the shock are in trouble.
You know, we lost the first fight, adjusted pretty well, adjusted throughout the map I think, and played fairly well and managed to take that map.
The map 2 was reality, but like I just remember it being super close. And I remember the last fight. Like the last fight was where like things started to get a bit cluttered. Like you could tell like everyone felt like it was super winnable. Like we could definitely win this, like go 2 up in the series. Then it started to get a bit hectic.
I have to play main.
Stick one. I
can't kill.
McCree above you. I'm sitting. Playing rest of
I'm
buzzer point.
I'm dead.
McCree one top.
Oh, I'm dead. Buzzer point.
I'll
dead.
Oh, fuck. So going into third map, I'd say we were like, you know, pretty comfortable. We were pretty excited to start playing it because the breaks are pretty long. We were doing really well, third point. We were about to win, but we just won a fight, so we start pushing up, and Smurf and Moff do an insane combo. That was really unfortunate. Smurf pulls us up around the corner, and Move comes in and boops us with 3 people off the map at the same time.
That's big. I mean, now you start to build up some more. What in the world?
Ah, that one. Yeah, that was gonna stink for a while. That really hurts.
Two franchises that haven't played each other in over a year, Matt. It is the Los Angeles Valiant versus the Toronto Defiant. You can't kind of heal him through it. You know, it's not possible. It's burst damage. So Difficulties is, wow, he's causing some problems right now, I think, for his old team. Takes a couple tries for the Valiant, but once they get the Minefield ultimate in, they take Busan away. Gentlemen, after our first map fueled by Wrecking Ball shenanigans, the second is shaping up to look pretty similarly here, Matt.
Yeah.
They force the Defiant to take cover, and there's another Brig in play. Another rally, you betcha. Shax just needs to swing that mace a little bit more, and yeah, that'll get the job done. The Valiant finally get what they want. They force the Defiant to play inside the room. 2 Brigs, no problem. Okay, so it started well for the Valiant, but yeah, when Dreamer decided to go in and continue, he got mobbed. Corner against Korea.
He's a rally here. You can just run away from this if you're the Valiant.
Rain is, yeah, no, he slept though.
Oh, big bomb.
No. Shax's alive. Logix had him under scrutiny for many seconds, and now Beast barrels on in. Logix finds a couple kills, and Beast finds the 3rd here. The Valiant are running out of steam, and the Defiant punish them for a completely anemic offense. And they stay alive in this series by clinching Gibraltar. Okay, the Toronto Defiant refused to go down without some sort of resistance there. Are they just channeling their namesake, or are they actually, you know, competent enough here to make this a 5-map series, Matt? That's what we're here to decide as Hollywood looms in the distance. The Valiant, they're losing control of this map, this round, this series, the whole thing. They are
Did
getting
these
rolled.
teams did these teams switch bodies at halftime? A lot at stake for both of these teams.
99-99 in overtime, but the Defiant, oh, at the last moment, heartbreak here. And they get dominated Texas style, the old-fashioned Wild West. Nicely done. And the LA Valiant take the series there.
For us, this first tournament was also a completely different environment because we obviously got Cruz in, it was a new team member, then in the tournament itself we got another new team member with Zeke.
The battle for Canada continues here in our May Melee qualifier. Shockwave doing so much for Vancouver, and really the rest of the team playing well around him. Vancouver up 2-1.
A lot of new things coming in, but we still managed to win against Vancouver.
And now Zeke starting to come alive. He's done enough here for Toronto. This should be point A in their favor. Toronto might have done enough here. They're keeping the momentum in their side. And I think Kariv has been the most consistent player for Toronto so far here today.
Defiant with their backs against the wall, they make the hold and force the series to a decisive map.
Vancouver might have to give this fight up, but no, they're staying in it. How long, says Logix, how long?
This is rough.
This is why Kariv is such a big player! Gets 2! All this experience in high game situations with 3. Does he have 4 for the clean finish? He does!
Riv having a disgusting performance on this final round, completely hard carrying. Not only finding that insane 5K, the beautiful openings on mid, and just there's no hype there at the end of the round. That's so anticlimactic. Toronto just ran over them on Sanctum.
This should all be seen as like the time period where we want to set up for what's happening in the second half of the season, because it was all used to figure out what we want to do as a team, and I think right now we are set up well for the next tournament. We are very much looking forward to what we can do in the future.